You know what you can learn from the biblical story of Eve and from Snow White? This is very important. Do not take fruit from strangers. Don't do it. You will die.
I believe in you. You have the power to see me through every storm.
What's up, world changers? It's Caleb, and today it's time for you to change the world. All right, so in life, you have a variety of options. As a matter of fact, if you take a history class, you learn about this thing called opportunity cost. An opportunity cost is when you have the ability to get one thing or another thing, but you can't have both things at the same time, right? So you can't have both things at the same time. So this is what we call counting the cost. So today the question is it worth it? Because you can have one of two things. You can have this thing or you can have that thing. You can get with this or you can get with that. But you can't have both of them at the same time. If you want one thing in life, that means that something else in life has to be getting rid of. Something has to go up or increase so that something else can decrease. That's a biblical concept. Earlier I mentioned the story of Snow White. One day I was working with some students and we had to analyze the film Snow White. And as we're analyzing the film, I was like, yo, this whole movie is completely pointless. Why did the Wicked Witch of the West, or the stepmother, why was she so concerned about who was the greatest of them all, who was the fairest of them all, mirror, mirror on the wall, who was the greatest of them all? Like, the whole thing is pointless. She already was rich, she was already a queen, but she let her jealousy consume her to the point where she was willing to do whatever to get rid of Snow White. We could talk about how the movie Snow White really just tells you that your integrity or how great of a person you are is based on the way that you look, but we're not. What is interesting to me was, at least in the Disney rendition of it, the stepmom had to actually transform herself into something lower in order to get rid of the person who she wanted to be like, or get rid of, so she could be the greatest. So it's kind of like she had to become something less and become more horrid of a person in order to get rid of the person who was allegedly the better of the two of them. Which arguably, you could argue, hey, Caleb, she tried to kill her stepdaughter. Obviously, she's an evil person. And I would agree, yes, she is an evil person. But that's not the point. The point is she had one out of two options, and she took the second option, which was obviously the bad option. And what did she get out of it in the end? Absolutely nothing. So obviously, that kind of is like the story in the Bible. You have the initial story of Adam and Eve. Now, God puts Adam and Eve in the garden, and he's like, yo, you can have everything in the garden, except for that one tree, because that one tree belongs to me, which makes a lot of sense. Like, if you got 10 trees in the garden, and you can only eat 9 of them out of the 10, I mean, it's kind of like, it's the least you could do, at least give somebody one of the trees, right? But no, serpent shows up and he's like, hey, did you know that if you eat of this fruit, you could be like God? It was a lie, because that's what the devil does. The devil tells lies. But yet, knowing what she knew, she traded something that was basically like a form of eternal life for something that she thought was going to be worth it, but really it got her and Adam kicked out the garden. Really, Adam was the one who made the sacrifice, because he was the one who really knew, but we'll discuss that for a whole other time. So, when we talk about making decisions, you gotta make the decision if the decision you are making is gonna be one that's gonna be worth it, or one that's not gonna be worth it. Do you really need that brand new pair of Jordans? Or could you save that money for something else? If I keep buying Apple iPhone cords that are worth $5 every single time it breaks, obviously it's a cheap cord, but if I buy a real cord, maybe I won't have to keep spending $5 all the time. That's a message for myself. In the Bible, it talks about what good does it profit a man, or what good is it for a man if you gain the whole world but you lose your soul. You have all these things. If you make decisions, but the decisions you make don't really matter in the end, does it really matter? If the decisions you make in the end are decisions that you make that make you richer, or give you more intelligence, or add to your schooling, and all those things are good, but it doesn't add to your eternal life, if it doesn't add to your salvation, especially if you're trying to live as a Christian, is it really good? Did you really make a good choice? And if the answer is no, then you probably shouldn't make that decision. I know it's really cliche, because they used to tell me this when I was in school, but now it's like, should I really be doing this? Is this really gonna matter in 2 years? Is this really gonna matter in 5 years? Does that mean that I stop going to Wendy's and Cookout? No, I still go to Wendy's and Cookout on Friday nights because that's what I do. You should be making yourself ready to make decisions that are going to help you to be advanced in life, to be advanced in schooling, to be advanced in your education, your savings, and ultimately to be advanced in your walk with God. If it's not going to matter, you got to lay aside that weight. Lay aside every single weight that's going to hold you down so you can make the right decisions, so you can do the right things. Yeah, that's it, everybody. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe, hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you do that and change the world.